Alright guys, today you're working on your North Carolina State Standard 8EE7. Your learning target is I can use one or more operations to solve one-step, two-step, and multi-step equations. Your language objective is I will use my problem-solving strategies and knowledge of basic operations. So your basic operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division to solve multi-step and fractional equations. Okay, so you have three important questions that you should be asking yourself at all times. They are, how can I get the variable on one side of the equal sign and the constant on the opposite side to isolate the variable and solve? The second question you should be constantly thinking about is what inverse operations do I use to undo what has already happened? And the third processing question is, do I understand the proper processing? Proper processing is in this exact order. Distribute, combine my terms, use inverse operations to get my constant on one side of the equal sign. Then I'm going to use my inverse operation to get my variable on the opposite side of the equation or equal sign. Fifth, I'm going to add or subtract my constant if I need to. And sixth, if needed, I'm going to multiply or divide by the coefficient attached to the variable. Those are the 6 steps that you should be cognizant of at all times. So let's go to the first problem and get it big enough so you can see it. I'm trying to slow down because you guys said that I talk too fast. It's just hard for me. Okay, so if you look here in this problem, we have a constant, we have a coefficient, we have a variable, and together the coefficient and variable are called terms. And on the opposite side of the equal sign, we have a term, which you just learned the terminology here, coefficient, variable. So when I write this, don't forget that you want to use your balancing line, and you also want to be cognizant of your plus negative thinking. So that means I'm adding at all times, whether I'm adding negative or positive. So the first thing I'm going to do is to draw my balancing line here, which I'm going to write. I don't want to draw my balancing line here. I'm flipping that. So hold on. I want to write it first, and then I'm going to draw my balancing line. So here we go. So I'm going to write 15. I'm going to change this minus sign to a plus and a 2 to a negative. So that's plus negative 2x equals negative 7x. Draw your balancing line now. Now, when I look at this, I want to go, okay, I want to look at the left side as an entity by itself, and then I want to look at the right side and see what needs to happen so we can get the proper things in the proper places. You only want to see the bases only once, remember? So that means I want my variable on my x's together. I only want to see my x's once before I try to solve this. I only have one constant, so that's good. So what I want to do is I have 15 plus negative 2x equals negative 7x. I need to move this negative 2x across this equal sign because I want to solve for x, so I have to isolate it by itself. I have to get it on the side by itself. Since it's a negative, I'm going to add 2x to both sides. Don't forget left to right thinking, so I want to do my 15 first. Strike through that because my goal was to get it from the left and move it to the right. And then because I have a negative and a positive, I want to subtract because my signs are opposite and keep the sign of the bigger number. So negative 7, so I do 7 minus 2, that'll give me 5, and it's negative because 7 is bigger than the 2. So then it's negative 5x. So each time you create a new picture, you look at it differently. So I don't want to go back through and mess with anything up here. I'm looking at the new picture and deciding what do I need to do to solve for my variable. So I have 15 equals negative 5x. My goal is to get x by itself or with an invisible 1, positive 1 in front. So I want to divide both sides because x is being multiplied by negative 5. The inverse of multiplication is division, so I'm dividing by negative 5 on both sides. And then I'm actually doing the math over here. 15 divided by negative 5 will give me negative 3 equal sign. And then negative 5 divided by negative 5 is my invisible 1, x. I'm through with this problem. Moving on to the next problem. You have -2 times, parentheses means multiply, x minus 5 equals 6 times 2 minus 1/2 x. Don't forget your plus negative thinking, and insert your invisible ones if you have to in front of the variable coefficients. So I'm going to write this as -2 times 1x, change that 5 to a plus -5, equals 6, and then I'm going to change my 1/2 with a subtraction to a plus and my 1/2 to negative x. Now we spoke and we said that parentheses means multiply, and so -2 will have to be multiplied to every number inside of this parentheses. 6 will have to be multiplied to every number inside this parentheses. Draw your balancing line. You all like to do these, so that means that keeps you from missing any number to multiply by. So first step, -2 times 1 will give me -2. X goes with it, plus sign. -2 times -5 will give me +10, equal sign. 6 times 2 will give me 12, plus sign. 6 times -1/2 is the same thing as dividing by -2, because my numerator is a 1, so that's going to be a -3x. So that is my new picture. Okay, from your new picture, what are you going to do? You want to evaluate and see what you have on the isolated sides. So on my left, I have a -2x plus 10, which is a constant. On my right, I have 12, which is a constant, plus -3x. So I need to get these bases together. Constants are bases of each other. You only want to see it once. So my first step is that I want to get this constant together. So I'm going to, it's added by 10, I'm going to subtract both sides by 10. And then I'm going to left to right thinking. So I'm going to write -2x, I'm going to strike through this, equals +2 plus -3x. So that is my new picture, because I did 12 minus 10, which gave me 2. For everything else, I just wrote down. Now, when I evaluate it again, I have my basis of x is still on the opposite side. So I would not want to move this over here. And the reason why is because it would be isolated. It would be 2 still connected to it. So you want to be sure that you're cognizant of that. So the first move I made was left to right. Now I have to move right to left. So I'm going to plus 3x on both sides, because 3 is negative. And so then you have -2 plus 3. So essentially I'm going 3 minus 2, and I'm going to keep my answer, which is 1, positive, because my 3 is bigger than 2. So basically I have 1x here, which I could just write as x if I wanted to, equals 2. Strike through that because they cancel each other out. That is solved. Now, let's talk about infinitely many, or no solution at all. So when I look here, you know what? Today I just want to stay there. Tomorrow we will talk about infinitely many and no solution and go on from there. All right, bye.